Welcome to Caffeinated Flicks. I'm Celeste.
And I'm Kenzie. We're two chicks who drink coffee
and celebrate flicks from diverse directors.
If you like what you're hearing so far, take a moment to follow us in your favorite podcasting app.
And give us a rating or review. Here's the show.
Hi, Celeste. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
We just went straight up into it. Yeah.
I know. We had quite a few ins and outs and outtakes there.
Yeah.
For quite a minute.
A few bloopers there, but that's okay.
Yeah. Enthusiastic.
It's been cloudy over here. I'm gonna blame the overcast weather for my droopy mood.
I saw this thing on Instagram where it's Arizonans anytime that it's cloudy but there's no rains, and it's that Jennifer Lawrence meme that's been going around where she's like, but really, why? And she's just so upset.
I haven't seen that one, but I feel like normally because we don't have weather like this, and so people are usually like, oh my gosh, it's perfect, read a book weather or cozy weather. But it's been consistent, and now I'm over it. It's been 3 days.
I love when it's cloudy. What I want though is I fucking want some rain. I would like some consistent rain. I would like it to be cooler. I am over this, but to be fair, my AC is still out. So
you're boiling in there.
I have a whole different outlook on life over here. So
oh no. The heat brings out the worst in people.
It really does.
I see a cake going around online that says, I'm sorry for the things that I said when it was 109 degrees out. I'm I need that cake.
Yes. I will make you that cake if you want.
Oh,
so what else is new in your world? I know that we just had Ethiopian food not too long ago.
Oh, yeah, we did that. Personally, I wasn't a major fan, but we only had a few things. That was our first. That was my very first time having Ethiopian food.
Yeah. From my understanding, you just didn't really care much for the injera, right?
Or did you? That crepe-like kind of bread. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm a huge texture person.
Yeah, which I didn't find out until recently, which is so wild. Yeah. It just goes to show that you can be in a relationship with somebody for years and still learn
things. Yep. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like it was a nice little break we took. Nothing much happened, but that was what I intended. Exactly. And that's what I wanted to happen. I wanted to make as few plans as possible. And so, yeah.
But your future in-laws were in town a lot, weren't they?
Oh, Billy's sister and her family was in town for about a week. So I just went a couple days with them, which was eventful because they all have a million kids. So that was that. Oh, our circle chair is broken, the one you like.
No. Yeah. Yep. Broken how?
I'm guessing from children jumping on it.
Rude.
Yeah. No. So it is no more. We enjoyed it for a final time.
My favorite
that
chair.
Was your last time. I know. The only reason we got the set, the main reason we got the set that we did was because of that chair.
I'm so sad.
It doesn't really spin that well. It's more of a rocking chair, but
I have sad saxophone music playing in my head now. So how you look out a window when it's raining, that's what's playing in my head right now.
That makes me sad for you.
I hope I'm painting a good visual for you.
You are. Oh my gosh. What about you? How have you been the past? Anything eventful happen?
I have to remember what's happened because every day feels like a month. So I'm just trying to remember what has happened in life. But I know that I recently launched my art website, so I now have my online gallery.
Yay! We're going to share that on our Instagram page also.
Yay! I'm
I'm
so
excited for
excited.
you.
Oh, and I sold my first painting, which is also very exciting.
You did? Oh my gosh, which one was it?
It was called Aether, which is my outer space painting. So I'm very excited about
How
it.
exciting. Congratulations. Yay.
Thank you. Oh, and then I posted. So initially when I launched the site, I had only 4 paintings posted on there. And now I've published another 4 paintings on there. And then I have some of those paintings up at Tap 2 in Avondale. And now I just put up 2 more paintings up at Throne in Peoria. So
What are these places?
they're breweries and tap houses.
Oh,
Yeah.
fun.
So I'm very excited about it.
I'm very excited for you.
A lot of artwork, focus. What else have I been doing? My youngest brother came back from his dad's, so spent some good quality time with him. So I was very happy about that. Got to
Yay,
spend the
fun.
entire weekend. In which case, I made a tiramisu for him.
I was about to
So-
bring that up. I'm like, you made a tiramisu.
I did make a tiramisu from scratch. Like I made the lady fingers from scratch. I made everything from scratch. And the lady fingers were great. We kept eating those lady fingers because I made too many of them. But I had to like triple the batch. I don't know why, but I just did. And it was really, the lady fingers were great. I couldn't eat the tiramisu, but the lady fingers were great.
Yum.
And then today, after we're done recording, I'm going to be making a peppermint chocolate cheesecake with Oreos and Andes mints. So,
Oh my God, that sounds delicious. I just saw a video online that was a peppermint cheesecake Oreo.
no way!
Cheesecake. And
That's
yeah,
wild.
I know. It looks so
So-
good, but
My cousin, it's her birthday tomorrow as we record this.
Mhm.
And so every year I always say, as you know, what do you want for
Yeah.
your birthday dessert?
what
And
dessert?
She was like, I want a peppermint chocolate cheesecake. And I was like,
Oh my
you got it.
That's gonna be
And she's like,
delicious.
I'm so glad you think so. She was like, I don't know who else is going to want to eat this. And I was like, I don't know. You and
That's my
Brianna.
problem with desserts. When making full size desserts, I'm like, I can't eat this whole thing. We're just a household of 2. So it ends
Well-
up just being given away to friends and family or stuck in the freezer.
So what you're telling me is next year for your birthday, I should just make you a personalized size cheesecake, right?
Yes, that would be perfect.
I can do that. I can do that.
Yay.
I will remember that next time. All right. So shall we get into the coffee?
Yes. So, as you know, Kenzie, 'cause I messaged you with a lot of
Yes, you
excitement
did.
yesterday.
You were so
Today
excited.
was the first launch for fall items at Starbucks. So naturally I went and I ordered the new apple spice, like the oat milk shaken espresso that they just added. I didn't get that. I got the apple spice macchiato, which was still good. I've had it before and I really liked it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was still
I
delicious.
think they came out with that last year.
Yeah, they did.
That was
It
when I first
really
got that.
Mhm.
Um, I actually did get the shaken.
You got
apple
what I wanted? Of
espresso.
course.
Yes. I'm happy to report that it's not super sweet, which is great.
Oh, I noticed that with the shaken espressos. I don't know if because it's shaken, it takes away some of the sweetness. But I've noticed that
know.
with the brown sugar one too, that it's not
Really?
too sweet.
That's true.
So I'm glad that's tasty. So you like this
Yeah.
one?
I do. It's very tasty.
Awesome.
But yeah. So I got that as well in honor of the fall festivities, which I have tagged you on Instagram.
I didn't realize that Dunkin' Donuts, they already came out with
Yeah.
theirs last week. I haven't been.
Mhm. Yeah,
But-
yeah. I considered that when I went for a walk last week, but I was like, nope, I just feel like iced coffee right now.
It's a good idea because it's so freaking hot still.
It is. Now, if only our weather could pick up the pace.
Yeah, it's not going to happen until November. It'll cool
I
off.
know.
And then it'll be winter for a month and a half. and then it'll go back to summer.
You know what I realized? I think I usually tell people that fall is my favorite season, which is basic white girl talk. But I think what it really is like Halloween is my favorite season. Like, it's not even just like fall. It's basically just Halloween. Like, I don't even care. I've always hated Thanksgiving. I do not care who you are. Come at me. Well, okay.
Oh, is it because you're a vegan and it's like, it's more difficult?
No, because I hated Thanksgiving before then.
Oh.
That just adds to the fire.
Yeah, it does.
No,
Just
Static Girl
fuels it.
Corner, because my parents are divorced, we always had 2 Thanksgivings. So it was always just really frustrating to try and eat one Thanksgiving meal at 1:00 in the afternoon and then another Thanksgiving meal. And these are full Thanksgiving meals where people expect you to eat multiple plates at both dinners
That sounds like
and
heaven.
dessert. It's not fun. Honestly, like, I know it's fun for like one time, but every single year of my entire life, like, that's all it was. Nowadays, it's much better because we only have one Thanksgiving, only one place to go to. It's much less stressful. But that said,
Of course.
the dogs really wanted to have a say in it. They were not having my take on Thanksgiving.
No. It's like, that's unacceptable.
But back to Halloween. Like, I've always just loved Halloween. Like, growing up, I always wished that my birthday was in October because I always wanted to be that much closer to Halloween. Like, I always wanted to have a wedding in October because I wanted to be close to Halloween. I did not have a wedding in October, but I had a wedding at the end of September. And I did have pumpkins at my wedding.
Basically the same thing. Yeah, you
It's
did.
almost the same thing. So that was like, I just love fucking Halloween. That's all I did. All.
You're definitely a fall girl because also you're a baker. And I feel like fall is the season for baking.
It is. Summer is not good for baking.
No.
Summer is awful for baking because it's already too damn hot.
Yeah.
So.
But fall is perfect. All the pastries, all the deliciousnesses.
Yeah. And you're already putting on baggy sweaters. So you don't have to worry about like what anybody's seeing underneath.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you have a favorite season?
I like Christmas season, but not too close to Christmas. I like the first week of December because everybody's finally officially in the Christmas season. But you still have a few weeks before like all of the events and everyone's stressed. Cause like the week of, like the weeks coming up to Christmas are just too much. I can't handle it. I'm over it by then. But like the first couple weeks, I love those because it's actually cool in Arizona. Actually wear long sleeves and pants.
Maybe some boots.
So not the entire season. So just like those first, like that first week or two is my favorite. All right. Shall we get into it now? The movie.
Let us do it.
Yay. So today we are recapping Clueless. This movie has so many iconic lines. It's amazing. So Clueless can be watched on Paramount at this time. So how long it'll be there, I don't know. At this very moment, it can be watched on Paramount. Yep. And let's see. So that is Clueless is directed by Amy Heckerling. So just a wee bit of information on Amy. She was born on May 7th in the Bronx, New York. So she is a Taurus. She studied film and TV at NYU and got a master's degree in film from the American Film Institute. Fast Times at Ridgemont High was her feature debut in 1982.
That is quite the debut film because that is like a classic. I haven't either, but that is like one of the classic 80s films that people talk about. It's Fast Times at Ridgemont High. So if you're going to talk about like the top 10 or 20 films of the 80s that you have to watch, you've got your Breakfast Clubs, your Pretty in Pink, your Weird Science, in my opinion, and then you've got your Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It is definitely up there. So it's kind of neat to see that.
I don't know. Good for her. She has also directed episodes on TV series such as Suburgatory, The Carrie Diaries. I never finished it, but I love that show. Not The Carrie Diaries. I'm sorry. Suburgatory.
Oh,
I saw your face. You're like, oh. I saw that look.
I don't know what the Carrie Diaries are. I love the name of Suburgatory, but I don't know what the Carrie Diaries are.
Oh, I think I saw like an episode or two. It's a cutesy, like, teeny boppery TV show.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was like Drew Carey. I was like, that's a very different story.
So it's like her when she was like a teenager. Teenager or early 20s. I think she was little. I'm not really sure because the actress looked really young. So yeah, so it was like pre-Sex and the City.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then also she did some episodes on Gossip Girl, the original Gossip Girl, not the reboot.
The OG.
The OG Gossip Girl. And many more.
The OGG.
The OGG, yeah. I just got it. I'm like, what's the second G for?
Original Gossip Girl.
Yeah. And then she also won a Crystal Award in 1999, the Women in Film Crystal Awards.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I thought so too. So moving on to the cast, we've got our lead, Alicia Silverstone. We've got Paul Rudd, and of course, the late Brittany Murphy. We've got Stacey Dash, Donald Faison, Breckin Meyer. We also got Justin Walker. I feel like they did him dirty with this photo. I pulled him up, and he has so many other good photos. I don't know why they picked this one. I feel like looking at the camera.
That's what happens with Google. Like, whenever you pull up your casts of movies, sometimes you got like really great photos of people, and sometimes you're like, what did you do to deserve this photo? Like,
what did you do wrong at Google?
But the same goes for IMDb too. I'm like, what happened here?
So yeah, pretty well-known cast.
I have to say, so I just watched Kate and Leopold for the very first time, and Breckin Meyer's also in there. He's in so many different like romantic comedy movies and whatnot, and I've heard of his name but never put it to his face. But I've always seen him in things, and I was like, oh, it's that dude. When I finally realized that that's who Breckin Meyer is, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I didn't know what his name was either, but every time I see him, I think of my favorite movie when I was little, Rat Race. He was in that.
Such a good movie. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
I love that movie. It's so silly.
Gosh. I used to force my mom to watch that all the time. Every time it was my turn to pick a movie. I love that movie. It kills me. Well, I think I bought it. So that I can watch it whenever. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did buy that movie. Anyway.
Oh, so good. I think one of the most iconic films that Breckin Meyer was in that I recall is Enough with Jennifer Lopez, but it's not a fun movie. It's like
I know, I was about to say, is it like a drama?
It's a drama where she is a domestic violence survivor, and so she goes to like learn how to, well, first she's fleeing and she's trying to get away from her husband, and then she goes back and she like gets revenge on him. It's a really great movie, but that's what I remember him from. He is not that husband, but he is not any better than that husband in that movie.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've seen him in a ton of other stuff. But yeah. Alrighty, shall we get into the ratings?
Let us do it.
Yay.
So, I'm assuming I will read the 10 out of 10. All right. So, Clueless is a classic. What a treasure this movie is. Every time we watch it, we roar, and after seeing it at least 10 times, it never gets stale. The cast is fabulous, and the script is so clever. It is as much a classic as Emma. Dozens and dozens of quotable lines in this gem. I would recommend this movie to anyone, although not everyone will appreciate it in the same way.
Alrighty, so the 1 out of 10. This movie gives me a headache. Kenzie, did you do this one? I'm just kidding.
Okay, I like this movie.
I'm kidding.
I'm offended.
Yes. Alrighty, so overrated. And please stop that stupid, exaggerated mouth acting. Almost everyone in this movie doing it makes me want to punch the screen. It is a complete mess. The plot gets me nowhere. The acting is so bad, except for Paul Rudd. And they try to make the fashion to be iconic, but the taste is just so bad. I thought I was going to enjoy it, but I was so wrong. Not going to recommend this movie to anyone unless they really need to release their anger and want to destroy things. This person has like serious anger management issues.
Seriously. My God, get over yourself. Just enjoy something for a minute.
Over a movie. People who get like this worked up, man, like have some serious issues.
Especially over something so fun.
I know. They get the stick out of their butts.
This is not like Pain and Gain. Pain and Gain was an awful movie. Like,
Ooh, I've never seen that.
oh, you don't want to.
Wait, why did you think of that movie?
Because it was really bad.
Oh, okay. I'm like, did she make this? Did she make that movie?
No. I don't know who made that one. That is one with Marky Mark, The Rock, Tony Shalhoub, and got Anthony Mack and Rebel Wilson.
Oh, so it was a recent movie then.
Yeah. It's got an amazing cast, but for whatever reason, it's an awful movie.
Sometimes
so
the cast is too stellar that it's just so bad.
Yeah. Yep.
Aw, I'm sorry to hear that.
Shall we get into the recap then?
Let's go ahead and do it. All right, so we open up with the obligatory montage of the 90s, early 2000s rom-com / coming of age of rich high school kids to kids of America.
We're the kids in America. Whoa. We're the kids in America. Whoa. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I can kind of hum along the rest of it, but I don't know the words.
Yeah, we can keep up with the beat.
Yeah.
That's it. So they're doing teenage things. They're at the mall, they're shopping, they're at pool parties, at these gorgeous homes. And then we've got Cher, who's played by Alicia Silverstone. So we basically hear her inner monologue throughout the entire movie. And she says that she's got a way normal life for a teenage girl, as she's literally using a computer to style herself.
I love her program. It's so funny. Her like style program. It's like she's uploaded a photo of herself in like conservative underwear, essentially. And then she somehow has her entire catalog of her closet loaded into this computer. And she just kind of shuffles through in her computer.
Yeah.
This outfit, nah. This outfit, nah. This outfit, yes.
Like, do we think this technology actually existed? Or is it just for the
I have
rich?
no idea.
Because I don't
All I
recall
know
this ever.
We don't have it now. That's what I know
right?
now. If only I could figure out how to style myself. My God, it would make my life so much easier.
Oh my gosh. Plan out outfits ahead of time.
Right.
Don't have to bother. Oh, that sounds amazing. Then we meet her father, Mr. Horowitz, played by Dan Hedaya. She says that Daddy is a litigator. He is the scariest of lawyers, and he happens to earn $500 an hour. $500 an hour in the 90s.
What does that convert to?
I don't know. Yeah, like what would that convert to? Because I don't.
To okay, so $1 in 1995 to today is $1.77. So $500.
Kenzie's mathing.
I am mathing. It's basically $1,300 per hour.
Jesus Christ.
The math be math.
No words.
There are no words.
Nope. I can't even imagine.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure
$1,000 an hour would be. Like, we're speechless.
I'm trying to think of what my paychecks are every 2 weeks. And I think for 2 weeks, it's about less than 2 hours of his time.
Wowza. Must be nice. Oh, no. So he lets Cher know that Josh, played by Paul Rudd, is coming to stay with them for a little while, who happens to be Mr. Horowitz's ex-stepson.
Which is such a funny way to put all of that.
Right? And so she's like, he's not my brother. And he's like, you divorce wives. You don't divorce children.
Right?
I'm
He's like, I'm not giving up on you just because your
I
mother and I didn't make it out.
is that a thing? Like, people who marry, like, spouses who already have children, do they keep in touch? Do they maintain relationships with these children if they divorce? I've never heard of that. Maybe people who have really young children and they grow up with them, but, like, what did she say? This relationship?
Okay, I love
I feel
this
like
movie.
it's complicated.
I really do. The only problem that I have with it is the turn that it takes between Alicia Silverstone and Paul Rudd's character.
That is
I find
concerning.
it so weird. It's
It is
very
very
similar.
weird. Yeah. Go ahead.
Like Cruel Intentions, like what happens between Sarah Michelle Gellar's and Felipe. What's his name? I forgot his name. Fuck nuggets. He was married to Reese Witherspoon. Ryan Felipe. That's what I can remember.
Friend Felipe.
Yeah. He's the guy who plays the main dude protagonist. He's awful. But they're step siblings, and the whole thing is that it's a wager on whether or not she will let him sleep with her or something like that. Anyway, there's that whole it's step siblings off limits thing. But this is kind of in that same vein. I'm like, step siblings. That's
Not
weird.
just that, but also the
Age difference. She's still in high school. He's in college.
Yeah, because I don't think throughout the movie it specifically states if he's a freshman, sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, she's 16, he's in college. It's a bit concerning.
You know, her dad's a pretty scary lawyer.
Yeah. Can do some serious damage. Yeah.
Right. What was I saying? Oh, we were talking about whether or not people stay in touch with stepchildren.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. In the, let's see, I've had almost, I want to say about 10 step siblings.
Dear God.
I know. I've had a lot of almost step siblings, and we've never stayed in touch with any of them. So
That would be a lot of people to keep in contact with.
yeah. Technically, I almost had a stepsister who I knew since I was like 8, and then we stayed in touch, but I haven't seen her since I was like 12. So that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say it's not normal.
Yeah. No, I'm going to
That's the
say
consensus.
no.
It's not normal.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So her dad buys her this super nice Jeep, which she does not have a license. She has a permit that she drives
She
around.
can't drive.
She can't drive. This girl can't drive. to
Girl
save her
can't
life.
drive.
Yeah. So she picks up Dion, played by Stacey Dash, and she says that her and Dion are friends because they both know what it's like to have friends that are jealous of them or have people that are jealous of them. So that is that's the core of their relationship. Is a mutual understanding.
A long-lasting friendship.
That's totally going to last after high school and college.
Yeah. Totally.
So they get to school. We meet Dion's boyfriend, who's Murray, played by Donald Faison.
I only ever see Scrubs. That's all I ever
That's
see.
what I'd say too. Yeah. The Scrubs character.
Yep. Scrubs.
Immediately they start arguing. He accuses her of jeeping. I feel, which I think is cheating, maybe. Anyways, like a bunch of the verbiage used in this movie, I had no idea what they were talking about.
I think it
I had to
just
Google
stems
some of
back
it.
to like pure 90s aesthetic again.
Mhm. But every like generation has their terminology. It's like the same with Gen Z or Gen X. Is it Gen Z or Gen X? Which is the one below us?
The ones who are younger than us are
Younger below us. We're the ones that are beneath us.
Once we step on the next of, it's fine.
Gen Z, okay. It's like with them. Half the time they say things, I'm like, I gotta Google it.
Oh my gosh, right? Side note, like Richard watches all of these like e-gaming and stuff like that. And he'll say words to me and I'm like, excuse me, where's my dictionary?
It's a whole other language. Yeah. I'm like, what are you saying?
What's worse is he's older than me. I'm like, what? Excuse me, sir.
Wait, how does he know all this? Because how because he plays with a bunch of young kids?
Well, he's watching all of these e-gamers and the e-gamers are like 18. And in order to play competitive Call of Duty and stuff like that, you start off at like 18. And once you're like 23, you've already phased out.
Oh, my Lord.
I know. It's a whole thing. The whole thing. But then, of course, they've got their own Twitch channels that you can watch too in the off seasons. It's a whole thing.
Oh, wow.
So I learned some things through him, but it goes right over my head. I'm very old. It takes me a while to catch on to even acronyms.
It's tough. Oh, yeah. All the time. I'm always Googling what acronyms mean. I think recently I messaged my mom and I was saying something about a For You page. So the FYP. And I think she responded like, OMG or something like that. And then the next message was, what's FYP? Oh, like story of my life.
It took the longest time for me to figure out what TBH meant. I was like,
I don't know what that means. What is it?
To be honest.
Oh, yeah. I thought you said TV as in Victor.
Oh,
yeah. That took me a while too. I'm like, what's that one?
I'm trying to think of what that could be.
Nope. No idea.
I'm trying to think of a really good like adjective, but I'm just thinking of like terrible vaginal hormones. That's what it happens on your period.
Whoa.
So anytime that it's that time of the month, we can just say TBH.
TBH. Oh, no. Oh, God. Okay.
So back to Jeeping.
Moving on. Back to Jeeping. Oh, no. So, yeah. So they have their little argument. That's their thing. They're constantly getting into little arguments. So we go to debate class where Cher and Amber, another student, I don't know which scene it is. I don't know if it's this one or a different scene, but Amber looks like a character from Whoville or from the She has like those pigtails that are sticking up. She looks like a little Who. I'm like, did this movie come out before or after The Grinch? Like,
way
like
before.
Inspiration from Who?
It depends on which version of The Grinch, because you got Chuck Lorre's cartoon version of The Grinch, which came out like way before. But if you're talking about like Jim Carrey,
the Jim
Grinch,
Carrey one,
that came out way after this.
But yeah, so Cher and Amber are in debate class discussing whether all oppressed people should be allowed refuge in America. Cher is pro, Amber is con. And she uses this analogy about a dinner party. She's like, I was doing this dinner party and some people who didn't RSVP showed up. And then I had to scrummage to the kitchen and set all these new place settings. And she's like, but it ended up working out. So it's like, the more the merrier. And she's like, and if the government could just do the same.
So funny.
Then these refugees can come to America and it'll be fine. And she concludes with, may I remind you, it does not say RSVP on the Statue of Liberty. And she gets like a standing ovation from the class.
She really does.
I'm like, okay. And Mr. Hall, the teacher, oh man, his sarcasm. He has very few lines and scenes in this movie, but I think he is one of the best characters.
I love him so much, mostly because of my like undying love for the Princess Bride. But
Who is he in the Princess Bride? Oh, wait, okay. I was thinking of the Princess Diaries. I'm like, Joe?
No,
That's not him.
no. The Princess Bride, inconceivable.
Okay.
I do not think that means what you think it means.
I'm dead. I don't think I've seen the Princess Bride. I know.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
We need to fix that.
Yep. I
ASAP.
know. I know. Pretty sure. I think we owned the movie, the VHS version. Remember how you can flip it upside down and it would be the same picture? But yeah, I haven't seen it.
You're breaking
I'm
my heart.
sorry. I know.
Don't go breaking my heart.
Yep.
I even have the book. I've read the book. It's basically the same.
Wow.
I know. It's wild.
I know. That doesn't happen. Yeah. Oh, no. All
We
right.
will fix this.
Yeah, we're going to have to fix this soon. So Mr. Hall passes out report cards. And that's when we meet Travis, which is Breckenmeyer. And he is not happy with his grades. He's very, throws kind of like a little, not a tantrum, but he's pouty, very pouty. And he attempts to jump out of a window. And Mr. Hall just casually asks if all suicide attempts can wait until second period. Ain't nobody got time for that. So when Cher gets home, we see this giant portrait of her mom, who passed away when she was a baby while getting liposuction.
That's how you know getting body modification is deadly.
I feel like it's a bit morbid to laugh over that, but I can't help it. But
It's a joke. In case anybody needed to know, that was a joke.
yes, we're not terrible people, we swear. So over dinner, Mr. Horowitz asks Josh if he's given any thought about corporate law, but Josh tells him that he wants to look into environmental instead. He goes, "Why do you want to be miserable?" He also asks Cher about her report card, but she tells him that they're not ready yet, that they're just a jumping start for negotiations. And he is very proud of her for that. He's like, well done. So apparently Cher negotiates all of her grades every semester, but is unable to convince Mr. Hall.
He is grumpy.
He just ain't having it. He's a
He is grumpy.
grumpy little man. Grumpy little old man. So Cher comes up while shopping, because of course she's devastated. She goes shopping and she comes up with a great plan to make Mr. Hall sublimely happy. That is when her and Dee are on a mission to set him up with Ms. Geist.
Ooh la la.
So in this time, I think right after that, she writes a poem and puts it in Mrs. Geist's like little letterbox. And she pretends that it's from Mr. Hall. At one point in class, Cher tells him, "Oh, Mrs. Geist was right about you." And he's like, "What?" And she's like, "She said that you're the only intelligent man at this school," or something like that. And he gets all giddy over that. So it's fairly simple.
I like it.
So back at home, Mr. Horowitz receives a second notice in the mail for 3 outstanding tickets and forbids Cher from driving without a supervised driver.
She shouldn't be anyway.
I'm pretty sure, isn't that like not legal to
It's
drive when you
not.
have a permit?
Yes, it's not.
He's like, "I didn't even know you could get tickets when you had a permit." She's like, "Oh yeah, totally." And then she's like, "Oh my goodness, what did she say?" She's like, "I didn't even receive the first notice." And he's like, "The tickets are the first notice." I'm like, no. So she gets Josh to drive around with her. And on the drive, he's like, "You want to practice parking?" And she's like, "What for? There's valet everywhere."
I'll never have to park for my life.
Yeah. He tells her that he's got to get back to school for a tree people meeting and that they might get Marky Mark to plant a celebrity tree.
Back when Marky Mark was still going by Marky Mark.
Wait, was that like his actual stage name?
That was his actual stage name.
What? I thought it was just like
Yeah.
a nickname that fans gave him.
No.
What?
No, this is back when Mark Wahlberg was a performing artist. He went by Marky Mark. Yep.
Oh my
It's
word.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, and they were a hip hop group.
What?
Yep.
So he was like a rapper slash singer or what?
Yes. I don't know about rap, but some kind of hip hop.
I did not know that.
More you know.
I want to look that up.
I'm terrified to listen to it. I'm not sure if it's any good. I'm like,
I'm sure the videos are really, their music videos are very entertaining.
I'm very interested to see what his dancing would be like. Like, I could probably stomach to watch it because it'd be a laugh, I'm sure.
It would be. You know what? He was probably good. He's a fit guy.
Yes.
He can pull the moves off, I think.
I can just sense the optimism in your voice.
Yeah.
You want it so desperately to be true.
I think he did an okay job.
However, he switched his career. That's how much of a good job he did.
Oh, yeah, probably for the best. You know what? So did Justin Timberlake, to be fair. And he put out decent music.
Well,
I
he
don't know,
goes
does
back
he
and
still
forth.
does he?
Yeah. He still does music.
I didn't know that. I thought he just switched over to acting.
No.
No. Okay. Well, they all can't be Justin Timberlake then.
Or J-Lo's.
Or J-Lo's. Okay. So when he tells her that Marky Mark might plant a tree, she just says, why don't you just get a gardener? He tells her that, of course, she's beyond selfish. And what did she say? She's like, oh, as soon as I get my driver's license, I plan to fully stop for animals whenever they cross the street or something.
Like, she doesn't do that now?
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I'm so concerned.
Yeah, we should be. So at school, the girls continue their matchmaking plan and give Mr. Hall some Italian roast coffee that Cher accidentally took to school. And she suggests that he should share it with Miss Dice. And he does. They have...
Their plan is working.
I know. Yeah. So they're off to PE. Deanne wants to bail, but Cher says that they can't because she feels like a total heifer because she ate 2 bowls of Special K along with like a granola bar of some sort. So there's body positivity for us. That's where.
Early 90s edition.
Early 90s, maybe. Yep. So Mr. Hall ended up getting those digits. Oops, guys. And things are going good for Cher and the other students because they're in love. They're doing no homework. Everybody's grades are great. So she literally gets another standing ovation randomly. Apparently word got out that Cher is the one that hooked these two up. So they're cheering for her. Mr. Horowitz tells her that he is beyond proud of her for arguing her grade from a C- to an A.
Trying to figure out like what she's going to do with the rest of her life. Like, is she actually going to go into law, or is she going to like rely on any other type of skills?
I feel like her options are limitless. She's pretty. She's got money. She can clearly argue her way through anything. She can marry rich. Like she's girl's got options. She's gonna be fine. Yeah, not worried about her.
There is that. I'm taking it too seriously.
Yeah, she's gonna be okay, Kenzie. I promise.
She'll be fine.
Yeah.
She's gonna be okay.
So all of this has Cher feeling so satisfied that she feels the need to do more good deeds. So in PE class, a new student is introduced. So that is Ty, played by Brittany Murphy. So she's total tomboy, skater. She's so tiny and cute. It's not implied whether or not she has money or not. I'm assuming she might if it's a high school in Beverly Hills, but who knows? Anyways, she's not their type that they normally hang out with. But
Yep.
because Cher is feeling generous, she decides to let her hang out with them. Cher says, "We need to adopt her." And Deanne's not having it. She's like, "Cher, this girl is toe up, and our stock is going to plummet." She's like, don't you want to use your popularity for something good? So she agrees. The scene where Ty goes up to them and she's like, I can use a little herbal refreshment. And Dan's like, oh, we have lunch soon. There's like, you can grab a Coke there. We got some Coke. And she's like, no shit, you guys have Coke here? And she's like, yeah. She was like, this is America.
They did not get her drink.
No, straight over their heads. So they show Ty around their high school. What was that?
Oh, I said it would definitely go over my head.
Same.
At first. Like, I'm so naive a good majority of the time.
Yeah.
Like,
I need people to be literal and straight up with me, or else I'm not going to get it.
yeah. I don't even know half of the euphemism for this shit. Like, I need people to be very forward with me.
Yes. So they show Ty around their school, their high school. And what I love about this scene is that you get a bunch of scenes of children who've clearly had like plastic surgery done. Their like noses are wrapped, their chin.
Oh yeah.
It's hilarious.
They're like, this is Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
See?
I'll be.
Half these people can't stand in the sun for too long.
Exactly. Oh no. So at lunch, Ty and Travis, they kind of hit it off a bit. But Cher tells her that he is an unacceptable match.
It's so
sad. I know. It does make me sad. Because he's so sweet in this movie.
He is very sweet.
Yeah, sweetie pie. So they basically tell her that the only acceptable boys are like the small group of popular boys.
Which are trash.
Yeah. Garbage. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So they give her a makeover. And I was a bit confused about this makeover. I don't know if you recall it. But when they're rinsing out her hair, it's like coming, like all of the red dye is coming out. I'm like, I didn't think that was how dye worked. Because they dyed her hair
Have you never
brown.
dyed your hair?
I did it like once. But like, does the dye actually come out? I thought that you just like, what?
So, okay, the way that it works. So you mix the dye, you put it in your hair, you set it for 30 to 45 minutes usually. And that's where the color imprints on your hair. And then you have to rinse it.
Okay, yeah. So the color that you're dyeing it, that's the color that rinses out.
Yes.
But in the scene, her previous hair color was rinsing out.
Usually the color that you dye it rinses out. Sometimes the color of the dye itself looks different than what it'll actually turn out when it actually turns out. Like sometimes when I dye my hair like red, it'll look brown, or sometimes if I dye my hair black, it'll be blue, stuff like that. It just depends on the dye itself and the chemical reaction that is happening in the hair dye.
Maybe, or maybe it was because when she came in, her hair was red. And so I think they just maybe it was a temporary dye.
It might have been. And
maybe
they could have done, so you can, every time that you dye your hair, if you've already dyed your hair previously, you get what's called volume, and you mix the volume with the dye, and the volume, depending on the number, lifts the previous dye color. So the higher the volume number you use for the darker the color, or especially with red hair, the redder the color, because red is notoriously difficult to remove from hair.
Okay.
This is Hair Dye Color Corner with Kenzie.
Yeah. I'm going to get much into it.
Either way, when you dye your hair, you will see color come out, and you're supposed to rinse your hair until the color is no longer coming out.
Okay.
Then you're done dyeing your hair.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Good to know. So they give her makeover.
It's so cute. Very 90s trope.
She's adorable. I know. And she's introduced to at-home aerobics videos.
Which is not so cute, but
I remember doing them. You never did them? My mom got the Cindy Crawford ones, and we used to do them together in the living room.
my mom had the Step Up aerobics ones. Like she had like the step block.
Step up? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, the
Like
movie
the-
with Channing Tatum? He had like his own.
No, she used to have like I can't even think of what to call it, but like a step. And then she had like 1,000 different VHS tapes
Uh-huh.
that she would put in, and then she would do like step aerobics or something of that nature. where
Okay.
Stepping up on the step 1,000 times in 1,000 different ways. It was wild.
Yeah. I remember those. They were actually fun. I enjoyed them.
I hated them. My version of at-home aerobics was Dance Dance Revolution. So
Oh, that was fun too. Yeah.
that was even more fun.
They do. She gets her makeover. They are introducing her to home aerobics videos. And then Josh comes in, and it's that scene where I don't even remember what happens in the scene, but I just remember I was so focused on the sandwich that he was making. So funny.
I think there's a tomato on there.
There wasn't.
There wasn't?
He
Okay.
literally grabbed a piece of bread, I think put some mayonnaise, like the thinnest layer of mayonnaise. Like, what's the point at that point? And then slapped on like one piece of deli meat, and then boom, done. I'm like,
He just wanted the bread.
right?
He's like, I can't just eat bread.
No. Frowned upon. So yeah, that was the saddest sandwich I've ever seen.
Sad sandwich.
Sad sandwich.
Did he leave the fridge door open?
I don't know.
I feel like I remember him leaving the fridge door open, and I remember it bugging me. I was like, would you leave the fridge door open?
We're getting irritated by all these little like technical details.
I know. I know that was super random. I was just like,
Shut the door. Oh no. So next day at school, now that Ty is popular, everybody's just gawking over her and her new makeover. The girl suggests that she and Elton should date. So apparently Cher's a photographer and is taking group photos of her and their friends. And she's trying to push Ty and Elton together. And at some point, she decides to do like an individual photo of just Ty alone. And Elton asks her for the photo. So they're thinking, oh my God, they've got him hooked. So apparently there is a party in Sun Valley that they end up attending. Cher has a very strategic game plan heading into the party. They make their rounds, they dance together, so that way they get the attention of Elton. And while they're jamming out, Ty ends up getting knocked out with a shoe. I don't know how the shoe flew, like where it came from, but she gets knocked in the head with a shoe.
it's a party. Who knows?
It's a party. It's a part. It's a classic high school party. Shoes are thrown around. Totally normal. Cher calls over for Elton to help out. And they end up dancing together. It's a jam. It's a party. It's the end of the night. And Elton ends up giving Cher a ride because apparently their houses are in the same direction. So it makes sense.
And then one of their other friends takes Ty home because
Yes.
Ty lives in the other opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
And so Cher's by herself.
Yes, she is alone with Elton. And I don't know what time of year it is. I'm guessing it's like December because there are Christmas decorations on the lawn. And when Ty leaves with that other girl, they take one of the Christmas decorations and it's a giant snowman and you just see it sitting in the car with them. And it's just, I was so confused.
Party favor. It's
Why
fine.
are they? But yeah, so that was very random. Anyway, so he takes her home and he tries making a very unwanted pass on her. She's very confused and he tells her that she's been flirting with him all year, which is a typical
Dude thing to do.
Dude response. Like, oh, she's nice. She must be flirting. She must be into me. And she's like,
she smiles at me.
Yeah, she's nice. So of course she's like, no, I've been trying to hook you up with Ty. And he thinks he's too good for Ty.
And he's like, I only took her photo because I wanted to talk to you.
Yeah, he's like, I only took it because you took She took all sorts of photos of the
Photos.
entire group.
Right.
And I'm like, why wouldn't you ask for one of the entire group? Like, didn't make sense. He's a dumb dude. And he claims that him and Cher make sense together because she knows who his father is. He's a very big, powerful man, apparently, acting like a total juice. She gets out of the car and he ends up leaving her in the middle of nowhere. She ends up getting mugged at gunpoint. Like, get on the floor. And she's like, this is an Aaliyah, which apparently is a very famous designer.
Oh, good. I'm so glad you know that. I don't know these things.
I'm assuming because she doesn't want to ruin the dress.
I just assumed that no matter what she said and the reason why she didn't want to get on the ground, it's one, she's very uppity and doesn't really like dirt. And two, it was probably very expensive clothing. And I'm like, yeah. That's all I need to know is that it's expensive clothing.
It's the expensive clothing. Yep. And
yeah, it's hard to wash.
But the gun at her head convinces her to get on the ground.
As far as muggings go, this is a pretty tame mugging.
He was very kind about it. Yeah.
Yes.
He's like, count to 100 before you get up. She ends up calling Josh from a payphone to pick her up. It's a big deal. I don't know how far this Sun Valley is from where they are, but they made a big deal about how far it is. So
it seems like an hour at least.
I know. Her dad called her at the party and he's like, I want you home in 20 minutes. And she's like, I think it's going to take longer. And he's like, in LA, it takes 20 minutes to get everywhere. I don't feel like that's accurate at all.
That is definitely not accurate. I don't think that was accurate even in 1995. Yeah. My God.
Let alone now. Yeah.
Definitely not now, but I don't think it was accurate then either.
So the next day they break the news to Ty and she immediately says, it's my thighs or it's my hips or something like that as to why he's not into her. Yep. So to make her feel better, they ditch class to go shopping. And that's when Ty discovers that Cher is a virgin, that she is saving herself.
I love how she says it too.
Yeah.
She's like, you're a virgin? That was probably a little bit too much of a drawl, but
she's like, yeah. She's like, you see how picky I am about my shoes and they only go on my feet. I think good for her.
You know, yeah. More people should just be picky about like who they allow to be in their inner circle. Not so much like, absolutely. If you want to sleep with people, by all means, go ahead and sleep with people. I'm not telling you to be a virgin. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, don't let people treat you like shit.
True that. So it's a new day. It's another day in class. And another new student enters, Christian, played by Justin Walker. And this kid is
so pretty. He's so pretty in this.
Very pretty person to look at. Yeah.
So pretty.
He's got that mature, old school look. And he literally speaks fashion. This scene, Cher like drops a pen and he picks it up for her. And what the heck did he say? He's like, nice. Some kind of shoes. I had to Google what it was. Yeah.
Prada. I don't know. I'm trying to think, what are
nice stems? Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, okay.
I don't know.
Yep. So she is just swooning over this man. She decides that even though she should be looking for a new guy for Ty, that there's no harm in finding a guy for herself also. Cher has to give an oral report on violence in the media. She gives another, what a ridiculous speech. What is she, do you recall what she said, Kenzie? It's slipping my mind.
No.
I don't think
but I know that all of her presentations are just hilariously ridiculous. She goes into like, well, totally, we shouldn't be doing this or we should be doing this.
Yes. I think it's, oh no, it's slipping my mind. I can't right now, but yes, over the top redonkulous. Mm-hmm. So over the next few days, Cher sends herself gifts to show Christian how desired she is. At one point, she's like, it's important to send yourself like something to draw attention to the mouth. And then every once in a while to show a little skin, because skin makes them think about sex.
So says the virgin.
Oh, The mind of a teenager.
Oh my. It reminds me of 10 Things I Hate About You when Bianca's like, black underwear. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character's like, what does that tell us? And she's like, means she wants to have sex someday.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh, that's another good movie. That's
I know.
a good one.
I love that one.
So her and Christian end up going to like this dance party.
Such a fun dance party. I want to go.
Earlier, she said that her brother-in-law or something like that's like friends were throwing a party. I was a bit confused because this kind of looks like not like a club, but it doesn't look like necessarily like a house party that would be thrown. So
I don't know.
it's
It
a dance
reminds me of
party.
Buffy.
It looks fun. There's like a band. There's all that going on. Yeah.
Yeah. If you've ever seen Buffy, it reminds me of like the club place that they would go to. Buffy and Xander.
I don't
Willow.
remember Buffy. When it came out, I watched it, but yeah. So before they go to the party, she comes down in like this tiny little white dress, strappy little white dress.
It's so small.
And so Josh is like, he's like, you gonna let her go out in that? So her dad's like, what are you wearing? It looks like underwear. Put something on to cover it. And she's like, well, duh, I was about to do that. And then she comes out with like this sheer see-through like cover up that covers nothing. So Josh, gets a little jealous and goes to the party, and also he pretends that it's to keep an eye on Cher. And so Mr. Horowitz, this is what like weirds me out too, because Mr. Horowitz knows what he's doing. And also he smiles. So I feel like
he's given his approval. I'm so confused.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay. Also, it's like one of the only times he smiles too. That we see him smile in this movie.
I don't know.
And so they're at the party, and Christian appears to be flirting with the bartender.
It not appears. He is flirting with that bartender. And that bartender was cute.
Okay, so he is flirting. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. Because meanwhile, Cher and Ty are convinced that he is falling head over heels for her. He's like, he is falling in love with me.
No.
And then at one point, Cher and Christian are dancing, and Josh looks over, and he realizes, he's like, oh. As they're dancing together, he's also started to dance with like other guys. And Cher remains completely clueless.
Hence the title of the film.
Yep.
It's one of the many reasons why this movie is called Clueless.
Yeah. But he's nice, and he decides to dance with Ty because she's kind of being left out. There's a scene where she's standing next to two people who must be like 7 feet tall.
At least bouncers.
Because you can't even see their faces. Poor girl's just standing there on the sidelines. So Josh and Ty dance together. He ends up giving the girls a ride home because Christian wants to go to the after party, apparently.
And I just looked it up. Brittany Murphy was a total of 5'3".
She looks petite. Yeah. That's still taller than me.
I mean, yeah, there is that.
Everyone's taller than
She's
me. Yeah.
between you and me. So,
Yeah.
See, and Richard
tall
thinks
are
I'm
you?
short.
Anyone above like 5'4", I'm like, they're tall.
Richard thinks I'm short, but he's also like 6'2". So,
What? Okay.
yeah. My mom's 5'2". So,
Yeah, your mom's tiny.
yeah, my mom's tiny, and she's the shortest of all of her siblings. So,
Nice. Boop. So then later on, after they get home, Cher convinces Josh to stay over during his spring break. So that way he doesn't have to mope around at school. Days later, Christian finally calls Cher after he told her previously that he would call her the next day.
he got a little busy, okay, with that
Yeah,
bartender.
He was occupied, yeah. He tells her that he'll be over that night to watch movies. So, of course, Cher interprets that as she is finally going to lose her virginity. So she calls in reinforcements with Dion. And so they're getting ready. She's ready to do the dirty that night.
Yeah.
With Christian. She's happy
she's
that
like,
she saved herself. So while getting ready, she says that you should always have something baking in the oven. Christian gets there, walks in, and says, "Is something burning?" So she runs over to this. It's cookie dough, but it's wrapped. It's like the wrapped cookie dough that she never actually made into cookies. She just put it down as a log on there. And so now it's just this burnt crisp
of plastic and cookie dough and disgustingness.
What a waste of cookie dough. How sad.
No.
So throughout the night while watching movies, Cher's trying to be flirty. She's trying to make a move. At one point, she's playing footsie, and he notices, and he goes and puts a pillow on her foot. She's like, "Thanks."
He's brought over all of these really old movies too, like movies from like the early 1930s, 1940s, 1950s.
He's got an older car, like, yeah.
And he mentions like how attractive one of the male actors is, and she's still not picking up on any of it.
No, she's not. She ends up falling off the bed while trying to make herself appear more sexy, I guess. While trying to do like a hair flip or something. So she's sitting there. She suggests wine if she wants to get him like a drink or something. And Christian says, "Notice how people use wine to be sexy?" And she's like, "That's okay." And then finally the light bulb goes off because he was really oblivious too.
He was.
Finally the light bulb goes off. He knows, oh shit, this girl wants me, and immediately dips out. He's like, "I gotta go."
But wrong signals have been sent here.
Right? Yeah. She's like, "I can get you some coffee." He's like, "Oh, I got this ulcer." She's like, "But you had 2 cappuccinos." And he's like, "Yeah, but you know those things are always just full."
True story. Extra dry. Only felt.
Oh, I hated making those. You would have to froth like multiple times just to fill up a cup with foam. It was the worst. So on his way out, he looks at her and he's like, "We're friends, right?" So he's laying it out. And she's like, "Okay." So Cher doesn't understand why he's not interested and thinks maybe it's because her hair went flat or she stumbled into some bad lighting.
She's like, "It can't be because I'm not hot enough, I swear."
Yeah, obviously. So Murray took her and Dion out to go driving. So Dion also is another person who only has her permit. So Dion and Cher are talking about what the reason is that Christian doesn't want her. And she's like, "I can't believe I almost had sex with him." Murray's like, "Who are you talking about?" And they're like, "Christian." And so he just like freaking breaks out laughing. And he's like, "Dude, he's gay." He breaks it to them that he's gay. And that's where we get the iconic "as if." And so Dion's like, he does like to dress. Like, he does got style and does like to shop.
He can talk some fashion like nobody's business.
Yeah, he can. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm totally bugging." It's another term.
This is where Dion drives out onto the freeway and almost kills them all.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how you accidentally get on a freeway.
I don't know
She
either.
happens to do it.
There are clear signs.
And so they get off the freeway and everyone's panicking. I don't know if you noticed that Cher starts like smiling, like as everyone's freaking out. And I feel like she catches herself. I don't know if
She
it was
now
like,
knows that she's not the only one who
I
sucks
don't
at
know,
driving.
a choice or an accident. But
Maybe
it
it's
was
just
very
because
funny.
she now knows that she's not the only one who sucks at driving.
Yeah. It was a little relief. There's someone who's a shittier driver than me. Maybe that's what was going through her mind.
That's how I would feel. I would feel
Yeah.
vindicated.
So her and Christian remain friends. She's like, he is a good person to go shopping with. The 3 of them, Cher, Christian, and Ty, go shopping. Ty ends up meeting up with some guys that she's flirting with. They end up hanging her like off the rail of the 2nd floor at the mall. And they claim it was a joke.
No.
Like, what the
Just now. Trash. I don't
stupid,
understand.
Garbage.
Why?
Like, yeah. Yeah. Anyways. So the next day at school, everyone is talking about Ty's brush with death. And so she's telling everybody like how like your life does flash before your eyes moments before. And someone goes up to Cher and is like, is it true that a bunch of gang members tried shooting Ty at the mall? And she's like, what? like these rumors have gotten out of control.
As they do.
Yeah, as they do. Yep. She's like, no, that's not true. She's like, well, that's what I heard. And
have you ever been part of a rumor or heard rumors at school?
Yes. I heard a rumor that I had like some sort of like, I don't know, like chlamydia or something.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
I ended up missing a couple of days of school. I forgot what it was for. But then I came back and people were like, oh, we thought you were out of school because you had some sort of, I don't know, disease or illness. And I was like, what the?
They're like, we think you have an STI. It's
yeah, an STI. I was like, what the hell? Like, it was wild.
oh my gosh.
But yeah, have you?
Not that anybody's told me.
Oh, you never know.
No. And I probably never will.
Teenagers are mean. High schoolers are mean. I just went to Chipotle yesterday.
Okay.
And it was one of those locations that had seating on the outside.
Mhm.
And there were a group of teenagers sitting right next to the door. And I'm not going to lie. I was like, I get uncomfortable walking by teenagers. And I had a reason to, because as I was walking up, they all turned and looked at me and looked me up and down and then turned back
Rude
and
little
started
children. Rude.
I was like, what the fuck? But yeah. No.
Rude.
I know. It's like, what the hell?
Rude little children. Rude.
Wow, little assholes. Anyway, so now Ty is the new popular girl, and all of a sudden she's too busy to hang out with Cher. So Cher's world has just turned upside down, and on top of that, she has to go and do her driving test. So she's getting ready, and she can't find her. She has a specific shirt that makes her feel, I don't know, powerful or
In control.
all that fun stuff. She can't find it. And then I think she calls like the maid Mexican or something like that. And the maid gets upset. She's like, I'm all Salvadorian. She's like, what's the difference? Or
It always reminds me of Emiliana.
Emiliana. Yes, I remember Emiliana. Oh my
Oh, it
god.
reminds me of Emiliana.
She was so much fun.
I miss. She was great.
She was so passionate and got angry. That was like
I
the
know.
fun of it over everything.
know. She used to laugh at me anytime we spoke Spanish.
Oh my gosh, she tells me. Oh no. So at home, I think Josh like called her a brat or something like that, or like a spoiled little brat, something along those lines. And so it stuck with her. And so now she's totally distracted during her driving test. And she completely bombed. Like, we already knew she was a shitty driver, but in the driving test, she's driving in 2 lanes. She almost hits a biker when merging. She ends up like hitting a car, like skidding the side of like 1 or 2 cars. So the driver test guy is like, pull over. She's like, are we done already? And so he's like, yeah, we're done. Get out of the car. And she's just like in complete disbelief that she failed the driving test.
There's no negotiating up this one.
No negotiating that one. Nope. So Ty ends up going over to the house when she gets home, and she comes with a shoe box of things that apparently she kept that remind her of Elton. And it's like random little things. It's a cassette with their song that they played when they danced, the Rollin' with the Homies. When she got hit with the shoe, they brought her a rag to put like on her head with ice.
Yeah.
And she's like, I didn't tell you, but I took the rag. And she's just like, what? So they're burning all these little knickknacks, apparently. And so Cher's like, where did you find your empowerment? And she's like, I met a new guy. Turns out that the new guy is Josh. And Ty tells her that she needs to help her get him. But of course, Cher, we see that she's falling for Josh. And she tells her that she doesn't think that they would be a good match. And at this point, is when Ty's like, why am I listening to you? You're a virgin who can't drive.
Most iconic line
Right?
from this movie. If you don't know this line,
Yeah.
burn it into your brain.
Yep.
This is the most iconic line from the movie. Along with,
Very harsh, Ty. Yeah.
that is the second most iconic line of this movie.
So Cher goes out shopping feeling totally clueless and realizes in a very dramatic moment right in front of a light up like fountain, realizes she is in love with Josh.
She like declares it to herself.
Yeah, she
like,
does.
Her own head. She's like, I'm in love with Josh.
Now she doesn't know how to act around him. She's watching the news. He's very confused by all of it. And she ends up going to her father for advice, where he tells her that she's the most beautiful girl in all of Beverly Hills, and that he doesn't think that he wants her with someone who's stupid and doesn't realize how amazing she is. She then decides that her soul needs a makeover and becomes captain of the Pismo Beach Disaster Relief. So we get in a little montage of her like collecting stuff at school, food. She's getting rid of some of her clothes. And at one point she's walking past like her dad and fellow employees while doing like some sort of casework. And she's bringing like, and her dad's like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm captain of the whatever group. And he's like, I don't think they're going to need your skis, Cher. And she's like, Daddy, they lost everything. That includes their athletic equipment.
Enjoy some water skiing.
Right?
It could be water rolled out there. We don't know.
We don't know. Exactly. So she's at school taking in more donations from, her classmates. And Travis comes and donates a box of bongs. Literal bongs. And so he also invites Cher to the Amateur Skating Board League. And he announces it as...
Skateboarding league?
Yeah, Amateur Skateboarding League. But he first says, oh, the ASL. And she's like, what?
The American Sign Language.
Yep, the Amateur Skating Boarding League, the Skateboarding League, and that he's participating in. So she actually decides to go, and she meets up with Ty there, and they make up, and they watch Travis skate, who apparently is amazing.
Next Tony Hawk right there.
Right? So the sparks were back between Ty and Travis.
I don't know if they ever really left. It's just that Cher was getting in the way.
Oh, it was there, but yeah, she kept getting in the way, unfortunately. And back home, Cher and Josh they're helping out her father with some legal paperwork for one of his cases. And she ends up making a big mistake that will apparently set them back. And the random guy that they're working with gets very upset, yells at her, and storms out. So she runs off to the stairs, and Josh follows and comforts Cher. And all flustered, he tells her that she's young and beautiful and continues to babble on some more. And eventually he kisses her. And right after that, in that next scene, she says how she's 16 years old. And still we do not know how old Josh is or what year in college he is. So
nope.
That's up in the air.
But we know that he's interning for her dad.
Sort of. Yeah.
Sort of. Like, he's interested in law, as we discussed.
His dad's like...
law.
Yeah, he's like shadowing him or something like that.
Yeah.
So Mr. Hall, it ends with Mr. Hall and Miss Geist getting married. And apparently Cher is one of their bridesmaids.
Yep.
Not weird at all. And also, a lot of the classmates are at their wedding.
Right?
Also not weird. I would feel like that is wildly inappropriate.
Wildly.
But whatever.
Wildly. What's really funny about that section is, like, they kiss, then the next shot that we get is a wedding.
And
we don't... Like,
yeah,
they
we
make
don't
it
know who it is. Yeah, and that's where she's like, I'm only 16.
So it's obviously not me.
Yeah. Yep. So it ends with the wedding. Cher catches the bouquet because apparently they got a $200 bet So they are fighting for that bouquet. And then
she's still 16.
She's still 16. I know, that's gonna be the name of this episode. She's still 16. Anyways, so it ends. They share another kiss, and then closing.
Da-da-da!
So, does this pass the Bechdel test? Totally, it does. Many, many, many times, fortunately. So moving on to a little bit of trivia on this movie. So, at the point where Ty, Brittany Murphy's character, insults Cher by calling her a virgin who can't drive, I've seen like little snippets of this interview, but Brittany Murphy confessed later on that at the time of filming, she was actually a virgin who couldn't drive.
She was actually also 17. She was the only person like actually a teenager when this was being filmed.
Ah, okay. Which kind of like dips into the next one here. Stacey Dash, who plays Dion, was the oldest cast member amongst the students, and she was 29 years old when she played this character, who was portrayed at almost half her age.
I need to know her skincare routine.
I know, like, and you couldn't tell. Like, looking at her, I'm like, yep, she's easily like a late teen at least. And then we've got Alicia Silverstone, who plays Cher. Actually did not know how to correctly pronounce Haitians. And so I think she says Haitians in the classroom scene. But director Amy told the crew to not correct her because she liked it so much and wanted to keep it in the film. So poor girl, can you imagine if you're just going about pronouncing a word a certain way? Later on, people are like, actually, it's pronounced this way.
And this is when she's talking about the immigration.
Yeah. Yeah. The Haitians. And then lastly, while filming, Paul Rudd was apparently mugged and had his backpack stolen, which held his script for the movie.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I'm wondering, I'm like, is that where she took inspiration for the mugging scene? Did he like show up to work one day and just like, I'm so sorry I was mugged? Oh. She's like, I'm so sorry, but let me go ahead and take notes on it. Like, gives me an idea. Just kidding. I have no idea if that was accurate, but that's very sad.
That is sad. On another fun note, so this movie is an adaptation of Jane Austen's novel Emma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which there is another movie called Emma. I haven't seen it. It has that one actress.
The 1996 really version has
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe there's a newer version that I'm thinking of.
Maybe. Oh, yeah. There is a 2020 version that.
Okay, I think that's the one I'm thinking. I haven't seen I haven't seen either of them actually.
Yeah. The 1996 version has Gwyneth Paltrow and Toni Collette and Ewan McGregor. What? It's got Ewan McGregor in it. Yeah. And Alan Cumming. I need to get to this.
Well, now I need to watch both of them. So the other one has Anya Taylor-Joy, the newer one. I like her.
I don't know who that is.
And also Mia Goth. I like both of them. So
I need to look this up.
I have no idea who these guys are. Very random looking.
Oh, yes. I know who Anya Taylor-Joy is now.
I think it was Split. Yeah, she was the main actress.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
She had darker hair in Split.
Yeah, she did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she did.
So, we now have a new scale for rating our movies. So, we now have the caffeine scale. So, on a scale of 1 to 5 espresso shots, how stimulated did this movie keep us? 1, we're falling asleep, or 5, we're buzzing. So, how would you rate Clueless?
I'm totally buzzing for this movie. Totally get the 5. All the way.
Same.
Do you?
I would say, I think I'm probably about a 4.5 shots on this, honestly. I don't think I'm a full 5, but I'm 4.5 shots.
Okay. Well, now you're
mostly
making me
because
question
of
mine. Is it because of that age? But I
think it is.
Is it that?
I don't think it's the age. I think it's just the Paul Rudd, Alicia Silverstone, just like step siblings relationship.
That does weird me out. Okay. But also that keeps me buzzing because I'm like constantly like in my head, like, what the fudge? I'm engaged. It's keeping me engaged for sure.
You're constantly engaged with it. You're just like, what is happening?
Why? You know, I'm going to keep my 5 because
Do it. Do it. You hold your ground.
yes, I am.
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you for listening to another episode of Caffeinated Flicks. We're a self-published podcast produced and edited by Kenzie.
We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what films you'd like us to cover, what we can do better, or just say hi.
If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can follow us on Instagram at Caffeinated Flicks Pod or email us at caffeinatedflicks@gmail.com. We'll catch you on the flick side. I didn't hear you if you said something, sorry.
I know. No, I realized that you couldn't hear me. And then I was like,
Okay. I know, I saw you talking. I was like, oh.
I always forget. Like, I'm so used to just talking to people. But no, I'm going to tell you, and I'm probably going to cut it out, but like, I'm sitting on my exercise ball, and because it's still kind of like toasty, I'm like starting to get like swamp ass.
Oh, yeah. On here, when I wear shorts, because of like the faux leather, my legs get stuck. I'm like,
yeah. That's the worst part. It's like, I want to wear shorts because I want to be comfortable, but then they get stuck to fucking everything.
Yep.